All right. Is the levels is good? Levels is good. Levels is good. We're going to get it going. We're going to get it popping. What's up? Can I get a thumbs up? Can I get an okay? We sounding good? We sounding clean? Am I sounding all right? Because you never know, man. Every day, you can have the same exact settings with YouTube and all that, and it just completely goes haywire. Good. Got a thumbs up already. So what's going on, my friends, my family, my fellow gamers? It's your boy Puertorock77, your only friend in these YouTube streets, back at you with some live shit. You know what I'm saying? I see that confirmed footage that's a year old. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna do some Q&A, so keep that in mind as we get this popping. If you be so kindly as you get into the room, hit the like button and send this out to your favorite social media platform. Let's get people in the conversation. Let's get the chat popping. The best chat in YouTube, you know what I'm saying? So let's get it going. Let's get it popping. Let's get the conversation going. Let me do my thing. Let me preach. Let me get the sermon. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get this beautiful Tuesday night. Well, Tuesday night for me, Tuesday afternoon for you guys, for many of you. But wherever you at in the world, get this Tuesday sermon going up. Hit up these two topics, and then we'll do the Q&A, right? One topic, Godfall leak footage, right? That's going to be the first topic. And the topic I really want to get into right after this one is PlayStation fans versus the PlayStation Fanboys' expectation of Sony and PlayStation 5, all right? Because there's a little mix-up of what's going on, all right? We have our little fun. We have our little console war, crumb side, trash talking. But I think the crumb side and the trash talking is muffling the true message from the PlayStation fans and what they expect from Sony. So we're going to clear that up because I'm the only dude that can clear it up because I got you, all right? It's the YouTube streets. I got you. We're going to do this, all right? We're going to hang out. You're safe with me, all right? Ain't nobody touching you on these streets, all right? I run the streets, okay? So I got you. All right, so this is what we're going to do, all right? We're going to kick off a little bit. Shout out the chat. Of course, I always want to respect to the chat, and everybody who takes time out of their day to check it out. Marcus Grant was up in here. Danny Stab, what's going on? Robert McLeod, thank you so much. J Zero was up in here. Truly appreciate it. Today, what's up? Neverland, Rob Gaming TV, Eric the Beard, 1985 is here. Yo, Deacon, what's up? Big Cloud Gaming, always a big supporter. Check out his podcast, RGT. My man's doing it big. Wounded Penguin, what's good? Yo, Sean Benjamin, what's up? Lincoln Clay, my BR brother, BR Life. You know what I'm saying? What's good? Check out his content. Buck That, what's good? Hump Master Trey. Rome Rush, you know what I'm saying? The Derek Jeter of YouTube, up and coming rookie. Check out his channel. One of these days I might gotta get you on a podcast when I get the crew together. You know what I'm saying? But my man's videos is popping. He brings up great point and he's passionate about gaming. So good to see you here, brother. Thank you so much. Saltiest Gaming. Hey, if you haven't check out, maybe, I don't know if you had a podcast since then, but check out the last podcast we got together. I got a special invite from him. I truly appreciate it. Outstanding cast, outstanding panel, great conversation, no BS, just raw, great guys that love gaming and wanted an honest conversation of gaming. It was great. It was a great, refreshing chat, great, refreshing podcast. Thank you so much. I was really glad to be part of it. So check out Saltiest Gaming channel. Great stuff. Almighty Spartan, my man there. He says, King David said you got to pay him to play. Yeah. Ain't that some shit, right? You know what I'm saying? My bad. But shout out to King David. Yo, me and King David, though, me and him, we always talk trash, and that shit just gets everybody wild up. So, King David's good peoples, man. He's my New York brother. We just find a way to get everybody in. Because when me and King David, we talk shit, everybody's all up in there. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't paying him to play PSN. He been investing himself. And if he does decide to invest in himself, I'm going to whoop his ass. Oh, I'm a bad mama jamma. I'm like my Ali. Oh, nah. Shout out to King David. Jemiah was good. What's up? Who else we got here? Troy Boy, what's up? I'm live. Live wires. Oh shit. 8:43 p.m. So yeah, I'm up. What's going on here? Let's see. Overdone. Woo. Ice Queen Gaming, thank you so much for rocking out. You know, Bob, what's up? Damn, everybody's up in here. We got 63 people in the channel. Just hit that like button. You know, truly appreciate it. Truly support. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to see me here. I'm noticing off topic. You're not going to see me game Chelsers. What's up? You're not going to see me here cry. I don't know what it is. I'm starting to see some videos of content creators crying, making fun of their audience because they didn't subscribe to their Twitch channel. They're not paying $5 a month for their content. All this weird stuff. And I'm like, yo, that's weird to me that you are actually blasting your audience. About what? Anyway, you know what I'm saying? Content creators and stuff like that. You know, I never realized people felt entitled so you could pay for what they choose to do. No one told them. No one's telling me to do this right now. This right here is not entitlement. You know what I'm saying? None of this is an entitlement. This is my choice to do, right? Nothing here says that because I'm behind the mic, behind the video, that anyone's expected to do anything for me. This is my choice. If I don't like it, if I don't like things going, then stop doing it. So it's weird people who actually put their face out there and do that stuff. You know, it just doesn't make sense. You know, to me, if I'm doing content, I'm creating content, the fact that you, out of all the things you guys could be doing right now, you could be doing anything, literally anything right now. You could be watching Netflix. You could be catching up on Netflix, catching up on episodes of TV shows you haven't watched. You could be gaming. Maybe you are gaming at the same time. You could be doing a whole bunch of stuff right now, right? But right now, part of your day, along with it, is you watching my content live and chatting. That's amazing. You know what I'm saying? Right now, I got 81 people, you know, and it will continue to grow. Usually I get like around 150 to 200. That's 200 people in places, 200 people that I haven't even met, you know, face to face or shook hands or had a drink or whatever. And you guys take the time to have a conversation and stuff like that, you know? Slow Mo, what's good? Trey BK, what's up? You know what I'm saying? Thank you so much. Doss, what's good? Yo, thank you very much. You know? That's just, he said, you got to demand the super chats. You know? They eat a bag of senior city. Nah. You know what I'm saying? The fact that you guys show up and you appreciate the stuff and you just interact with me, that's it. You know? Yes, we are live, Danny. Thank you so much for rocking out, right? So that's it. So, hey, I don't know about these other YouTube content creators or content creators across the internet, all right? Whatever they do, they want to bash the people that view them, that's on their problem. I'm just telling you straight up, I appreciate the time you take out of your day because you could be doing anything else other than what you're doing right now, right? And I truly appreciate that, really. That's it. I truly appreciate that, you know? But it would be nice if you hit the like button. I will say that. just to hit that it's free, you know? It's not behind the paywall. Just a simple bloop. Just hit a button, right? At least to hook me up with that, right? But anyway, so Godfall trailer leak footage, right? And we saw it, right? Information came out that it's a year-old PC build, right? From the developers used as a presentation, right? Ever since that leaked, of course, everybody makes their opinions. Oh, this doesn't look next gen. This doesn't look like it can't run on a PS4. Hell, the 360 could play this. The PS3 could play this. Yada, 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 yada. Now we found out it's a year-old build that was designed for presentation. So obviously the optimization, you know, stuff like that, all the bells and whistles hasn't been fully implemented, right? My take from the footage, right, is the gameplay is what I'm interested because it's a looter slasher, right? It's not a looter shooter, right? If it was a looter shooter, I would not be as interested in much because, you know, the shooters, there's just a lot of shooters out there, right? And I wouldn't be interested in another Destiny type, Division type game where you just shoot all day, right? But since it's a slasher, I can mess with slashers. I can mess with action games with melee combat. I can do that. I could try that. I'm willing to check that out simply because of the gameplay, right? So I'm looking forward to how they implement this, right? It's available for PlayStation 5 and PC. I would imagine it will come to Xbox later on. I think this is a time exclusive. I really don't see this game being exclusively PS5 and PC for the whole gen or up until the sequel. I don't see that. It's a new IP. You got to give, the third party got to do something, right? They got to make their money the best way they can. Third party are not fully invested in selling consoles. That's not their business. That's not their mission. Their mission is to sell their games. Of course, when the opportunity arises to make some quick or easy money or a little bit of guaranteed money for a little bit of deal, they're going to take that. So I would imagine Sony saw this game, whatever it is, it appealed to them, probably made a deal with them saying, hey, you can still do it on PC, but we want it exclusively for PlayStation, most likely timed, and we'll do the following things. One, most above all else, advertisement. And don't shortchange advertisement because advertisement is expensive. Depending how deep the advertisement go, it could be really expensive, right? So that's an expense the developer does not have to worry about at all, right? Number two, publishing rights, right? Since it's coming on PlayStation, they could say, hey, instead of the 30% we normally charge, we're only going to charge you 10%, right? That's a great deal. You get more money. They get more money back for their investment when they put on PlayStation, vice the normal 30%, right? There's a lot of ways the developer could make a lot of money or save a lot of money and cut a lot of costs from their own budget to get this game out. Advertisements and, short chain and, royalties fees, right? But I still think it's going to go to Xbox. The question is, will it go to PS4 and Xbox One? That's going to be the interesting question. Is this game truly a next-gen built from the ground up title? Or is it one of those released on PS5, PC first, then after a year, it gets released on every other platform? We won't really know that until we get our hands on it, and I would say even that might be difficult. It depends on how they make the game. And if we can easily notice that, because we all play like Devil May Cry, God of War, we play games like that, right? We play action games, right? So when you play a game, hopefully we can tell like, yeah, you can't do this on the PlayStation 4. Like this is like, there's something there that we notice, an actual noticeable next gen appeal. And hopefully we get that when we play the game, right? If we don't really get that, there's potential that, we've been bamboozled, right? Where it's released PS5, PC first, but then after the time exclusivity, whatever, it gets released on every other platform. So we have to wait and see, right? But ultimately, it's a leaked footage. It's out there now, YouTube. Grab it while you can get it. I don't think they're going to pull it down because it's gaining a lot of traction, which is good for the developer. Even if they didn't intend for the footage to be leaked, it's a good way to get traction, and there's a lot of traction on Godfall, and I think the developer wants that. So screw it. Leave it out there. The developer explained, hey, it's a year-old build, so don't stress out on how the ultimate game's going to come out, right? Jay Barre, what's going on? What's up, okay? So that's it for that, right? Now we're going to get into the meat and potatoes. So this is definitely where you want to hit the like button, retweet this out, because this is the topic I really want to talk about, right? I want to talk about PlayStation fans versus PlayStation fanboys' expectation of Sony and PlayStation 5. And there is a difference, right? And I think what's going on, not even so much I think, what I know is going on is the message is being mixed and muffled, right? And there's people who are having serious conversation about what Sony's doing, but they're mixing the fanboys with what the expectation of the fans is, right? So let's get this out. What are the fanboys? The fanboys are nothing more than trash talkers. That's really what comes down to fanboys across the platform, right? The ability to trash talk about your platform against another platform. That's ultimately saying your platform sucks, mine is better. Your game sucks, mine is better. All it is just consistent trash talking, a consistent put down of one platform and a big up to the other and just trolling, whatever, right? Some people do it for fun, and then there's some people who are serious about it, right? It is what it is in between, right? That mentality, that logic, all those conversations that the fanboys are doing are being blended in with what the fans expect with PlayStation 5. And this is what I'm talking about. So recent announcement, rumor, most likely it might happen, is Horizon Zero Dawn will go to PC, right? And what that did is that created a storm of uncertainty on what Sony is doing, right? Many feel this is a clear sign that they're going to support PC and eventually they'll do day and date, day one games of their first party on PC, a decision that Microsoft already made with their games, right? Other people feel this is something that is only the old games. So the new PlayStation 5 games will still be exclusive to PS5, but the PS4 will go to PC because they're old or whatever. There's a lot of, how would you say, speculation, right? And uncertainty. Because at the end of the day, Sony has not straight up said, this is what we're doing. This is our intention forward when it comes to providing games, right? So what is a PlayStation fan's expectation of Sony? We already know the fanboy. They want exclusives. They don't want the games nowhere else because it gives the console identity and it allows them to talk shit about every other platform that they have no games. In a nutshell, right? Plain and simple. We got the games, you don't. You guys don't got exclusives. No one needs your console. Everybody needs ours. Haha, we're the winners, champion of the world. Nutshell, right? That's PlayStation Fanboys. That's Fanboys in a nutshell. All right? Shout out Blaze 4K, was good. All right, Only the Illest. Julian Molina, all right? Twisted Sin. So, what is the actual PlayStation fans? Because there's a lot of PlayStation fans that have voiced their opinion, right, on why they don't like this, but it gets muffled and mixed in with the fanboys. And then it just becomes one voice and it's just a goulash. It's just a disgusting blob. It's not a clean plate, right? What the PlayStation fans' expectation, right? And let me show you something, right? Let me show you something. Let me put this up there. Okay? All right. You see these numbers, right? These numbers are there because the majority of the people are PlayStation fans that support the PlayStation brand, right? This has nothing to do with Xbox or any other platform. Sure, the crumb side gets involved, right? And mixes it in, right? And people, even me, on Twitter to talk trash, use these numbers, to talk trash and troll Xbox fanboys and stuff. But we're not talking crumb side war or nothing. This is just straight up PlayStation. No other brand or platform is involved in this conversation. They have no relevance in this conversation. This is strictly PlayStation fans who did all this, right? Who did all, wherever, right? That's it. Yeah, right there, this way. Who did all this? These are PlayStation fans, all right? And PlayStation fans have consistently gravitated towards a PlayStation brand, right? And even during PlayStation's darkest hours, right, when PlayStation 3 did a terrible job, in the end, Sony delivered the games and the PlayStation brand responded. Still sold a billion games. When you look at the overall stats, right, PlayStation 1, 900 million games sold, 100 million consoles sold. First console right out the bat, right? Then the PlayStation 2 came. 150 million consoles sold, 1.5 billion games sold. First console to ever do that, first console to ever sell a billion games, right? PlayStation 3, things went bad. Sony made some bad decisions. They took advantage of their popularity and they didn't focus on the games. They tried to push Blu-ray, right? They tried to use PlayStation to win the Blu-ray war, to which they did, but at the cost of almost destroying the PlayStation brand, right? They tried to push the cell processor and try to make it mainstream to compete with Intel and all these others. When the industry was going for multi-core design, Sony says, we're going to do our own thing and we're going to try to use PlayStation to do it. Backfired, right? So they try to use PlayStation as a Trojan horse and it backfired bad. But in the end, sold over 80 million, which is still really good, right? When you look at all the console sales, 80 million console sales is still a great metric, but it still sold a billion games. The PlayStation fans were there to buy the games. And now you got PlayStation 4. Already surpassed 100 million. You see the numbers right here. 106 million, 1.15 billion games. So from the PlayStation fans, we like the brand. We like the platform. We enjoy the games. We enjoy what Sony's do. And we're willing to support it. And we're willing to go out there and get it, right? So what is it of Sony deciding to put their first-party games on PC day one or potentially day one? What's the issue with a PlayStation fan, right? Let's dispel a couple of things. Number one, it's not we're trying to keep games away from other people. In fact, that's a silly argument because anybody could go out there and buy a PlayStation 5. None of us are in Best Buy with machine guns, gatekeeping on who. There's not like, you need to show an ID card. Like, let me see your pony card. Yep. All right. You could buy a PlayStation. Oh, you want a PlayStation? Nah, sorry. You can't have one. Walk away. No. This whole idea of keeping games away from people, anybody could get any platform they want to play the games, right? PC has exclusives. PC has tons of exclusives. There's lots of exclusives on PC that are not on consoles, right? Right? A lot of them aren't as big as God of War, or Halo, but a lot of them are great games, but they're only available on PC. No one says anything to them. Why? Because if you want to play those games, get a PC, right? Nintendo Switch. Nintendo in general always have exclusives. Always have exclusives. They've been in the console game longer than Sony. So they've been making games exclusively to their platforms much longer than PlayStation. No one says anything to them, right? Because simply put, if you want those games, just go get the hardware. It is not that big of a deal to buy hardware. Maybe PC. In fact, if anything, if you could get a PC, you definitely could get a console, because you're not going to get a $150 gaming PC to play games, but you can get a $150 console to play games, because all these consoles always drop dirt cheap, right? So there is no gatekeeping. There is no keeping games away from people. Anybody could get these consoles, right, and play the games, right? Not a big deal, okay? But what PlayStation fans look at is this. When we look at a PlayStation, right, it's a dedicated device made by Sony. Sony has dedicated studios that work for them. Santa Monica, Naughty Dog, Sucker Punch, San Diego Studio, the list goes on, right? What are the jobs of those dedicated studios? Sure, at point blank is make games, right? But make games for who? You work for Sony. Sony's making a console. So you need to make a games for this console. That is your job. To focus on this console, get the most out of it, so we can get the most bang out of a buck. So when you buy a PlayStation 4 or in a PlayStation console, in this case, PlayStation 5. When you buy that PlayStation 5 and you buy, and Sony gets your money, Sony has first-party studios. We want those studios to focus on what we just bought. We don't care about those studios making PC games. We're the ones that bought your console. Why are you focusing on them? Why are you focusing on the platforms? We bought your console. And what I mean by we is anybody who buys a PlayStation 5. If you bought a PlayStation 5, right, and you brought it out on the shelf, I'm pretty sure when you're holding this PlayStation 5 in your hand like this, right, you're holding it in your hand like this, pretend it's PlayStation 5, so you're holding PlayStation 5, I'm pretty sure you're not going, but are Sony developers making games on PC? Because I need to know that. Because if they're not, then I'm going to put this PS5 back on the shelf. No. How much bang for your buck are you getting on that purchase, which is a PlayStation 5? That is the PlayStation 5's expectation. You know what I'm saying? That is what we expect. All right? Anybody who buys a PlayStation 5 and Sony has these developers, are they putting in the effort, the time, and focus on this one platform we're all purchasing? That's the thing, right? Now, of course, people are going to say, well, Sony makes more money selling games to other platforms. True statement, they will sell more games. But here's my question. Does Sony need to even make a console if they're just worrying about selling their own games? If that's all they're worrying about, then stop making consoles. Why are you making PlayStation consoles for, right? I don't see Activision having their own console. And their games, Call of Duty sells. Hell, didn't we see the top 10 list from the US? 7 of the slots are Call of Duty. 7 out of the 10 games are Call of Duty of the decade. The best games of the decade, the top 10 games of the decade, 7 of them are Call of Duty. They don't own a console. Ubisoft does not own a console. EA does not own a console. Capcom, Sega, Sega used to, right? None of these people own consoles. And they could put their games everywhere. If there's no PlayStation 5, the 100 million that if there's no PlayStation 4, let's say there was no PlayStation 4, the 100 million that PlayStation 4 would not exist. Those gamers would not disappear. They would just jump onto another platform. PlayStation 3, Xbox One numbers will be bigger. Switch numbers be bigger. Hell, Wii U numbers could have been bigger, right? At the start of Gen. If there was no PlayStation 4 sales, then your only option would have been PC, Xbox One, and Wii U. So some of those numbers would have been bigger, right? Spider-Man's going to sell no matter what platform it's on. You don't need a PlayStation 4. And if that case, if all they care about is selling Spider-Man, then don't make a PlayStation console. Just go third party and make the game. And us gamers, we will adapt. We will pick a different platform. Some will jump on 360 because they only like to play on consoles. Some are more partial to Nintendo because they make exclusive first party. So they'll play Spider-Man plus Zelda. And then many others will play on PC. Sony will still sell the games. There's no reason for them to make a console. So why are they? It can't just be to sell first party. The first party would sell no matter what. But they're making a console. Right? And they have dedicated studios under them. So what are those studios doing? If I'm playing a PS5 and the studio's making PS5 and PC games at the same time, the PC gamer didn't buy a PlayStation 5. So why am I investing more money into Sony when I don't have to? What am I getting for buying a PS5? What am I getting out of the PS5? You know? And I'm not arguing that, I'm mad at the PC gamers. That's not it. This is the reason why I say if Sony puts the games day and day on PC, I'm going PC. There's no incentive for me to give Sony an extra $500. Why would I give them more money and get nothing in return? With exclusives, when I give them money, when we all give them money, there's an assumption, there's a hidden agreement that we know your developers are focusing on this platform and they spend their times every day, the 10 to 15 hours they work every day, they work on this one hardware and they're figuring out how to get the most bang for your buck out of this hardware. They're the ones that's figuring out, we could do this. Oh my God, did you know we could do this? We could do the most this, right? They're laser focused. They're building the games on this hardware and they're coming out with the best product possible on this hardware that we all purchased, right? And even if you're an Xbox gamer, again, this is not the fanboys, Xbox gamers, right? Even if you're an Xbox gamer, right? Some of you will buy a PS5. I don't know why you're co-signing for PlayStation to make the games multi-plat or to be on PC. When you buy your PS5, even though it's your secondary console because you only play for the exclusives, right? You are paying Sony money for that console because you want access to their exclusives. Don't you want that exclusives laser focused on that hardware so the developers get the most and best out of it? Why would you want developers not to do that? You see what I'm saying? And again, this doesn't keep gaming away from everybody else. Anybody could walk into the store and buy a console, right? And these consoles will drop in price. Eventually, they get down to $150. They're eventually going to be $150. You cannot tell me that buying another piece of hardware for $150 to play a whole bunch of games is a bad deal. This is the first time I ever heard gamers saying buying platforms to play more games is now a bad deal. That's just a bad message across the board, right? That's ultimately what we want, PlayStation fans want from Sony. That if we're going to buy a console and you guys have dedicated developers, what are they doing? What is their mission? What have you tasked them to do? Are you tasking them to start, splitting developers, or now you're going to add even more developers, just so you could make games for other platforms and how the game's going to come out? Like, what's going on? We're giving you $500 for PlayStation, but you're talking PC. Like, what are we doing here? If that's, and that's why I say, right? Again, if Sony makes games for PC day one, they support PC fully day one. And my man, Salty is Gaming, he brought out, what about the Sony PlayStation PC launcher, P-Rock? And I'm going to lead to that point. And especially if they do that, they create their own launcher where literally it's an application that is just like the PlayStation console. You click it open, it opens. User interface looks like the user interface on a console. Trophies, friends list. Chances are it's free. They're not going to charge you to play online because on PC gamers won't play that. So chances are that launcher would be free. Why would I play on a dedicated hardware, right? When the company themselves aren't even focused on that dedicated hardware. To them, it's just another device among other devices that plays their games, which is fine. If that's Sony's ultimate destination, I'm not going to flip out or, whatever. I'm just adapt to my decision, but I'm going to adapt to the decision that makes sense for me. And I know if Sony puts the games day one on PC, the experience on PC will be better. And I'm telling you, they're going to get better benefits. That's just the reality. The best version of games, and I'm not even talking about frame rates and hardware. PC community is going to do mods. They're just going to get so much more content on their games that's not even fair for the console gamers. And it is what it is. I won't do that to myself. I'm not just going to ride or die with the console. It doesn't mean anything. Now it's just a device. Now the question is which device I'd rather play it on. And I will choose PC all day, every day with PlayStation 5 Day 1 games over a console. Over a PlayStation console any other week. Again, the expectation. You buy the console, Sony, what are you doing? Now that I got this console in my hand, what's the agreement? Right? And traditionally, that agreement is these games are exclusives, but it's not just the word exclusives. And I think that's what people don't understand. The word exclusive, right, for the console, what it actually means is we built this game from the ground up and we put our focus only on this hardware. We did not dilute our intention on any other hardware. It was built for this hardware. We designed it for this hardware. We learn, as we develop the game, we learn more tricks so our future games will come out better. It is all about this hardware and ultimately the very best we can do with this hardware. And that's important because you can't upgrade the hardware yourself. You're not going to get better performance on your own choosing. You have to rely on the developers to make the games look better year over year. Every project that they do, there's an expectation that their next project looks better than their previous project, but on the same exact hardware. No boosting GPU, no boosting CPU, just simply optimization and better proficiency on developing the games. We get better looking games and we don't upgrade anything. That's it. And that's our concern. Our concern as PlayStation fans is that we lose that. That's our concern, right? This has nothing to do with Xbox. The Xbox guys, they already accepted what Microsoft said. This is how the platform is, and that's fine, okay? PC guys, they're used to upgrading PCs. They're used to creating the level of their own experience. They're used to upgrading their own. They're not used to, they don't rely on developers to get, to maximize their stuff, right? They do it themselves, right? And the Nintendo gamers, they got their exclusives. They don't care about power. They're happy with portability and the unique games Nintendo makes. That's it. So this conversation ultimately has nothing to do with Xbox. Yes, we could talk crumb side. But for now, and for you guys to understand, this is not a crumb side console war conversation. It's about a consumer, right, who helps Sony achieve these metrics, right? And the question is, as you see all these metrics, right, is Sony listening to us? Because it's the PlayStation fans that did this, right? It's the PlayStation fans that helped make this console one of the most successful brands in gaming. When you think about the PlayStation brand in terms of consoles, is the most successful of all time. More than what Nintendo has ever done, more than what Sega's ever done, Xbox, NEC, Atari, you name all the first-party manufacturers who make consoles. Sony's it. And it's credit to the fans. But at the same time, it's what Sony promised and deliver to fans. So it's a symbiotic relationship, right? That relationship could be severed, right? And it's not the end of the world, right? Because we're going to keep on gaming. Again, this is not a crumb side conversation. It's not the end of the world. It is not the end of the world if PlayStation makes games on PC day one and I don't buy a PlayStation console. Life moves on. We'll all be okay. We're all just going to enjoy gaming. Remember, as I said before, I was a Sega console dude. But I'm not a Sega console dude no more. Those days are over for me. They've been over for a long time. Hell, starting today, almost 20 years. Right? Because Sega died like in 2000, 2001. So almost 20 years to the day, I haven't been able to be a Sega console guy buying Sega consoles. 2 decades, right? But I'm still gaming. I still enjoy gaming across. I will still enjoy gaming even if Sony puts all their games they want on PC. I'll adapt. I make the best choice. Some of you will still play on PS5. And there's nothing wrong with that. Just like how many of you are still going to get the Xbox Series X, nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong. I know I troll and talk trash, but there's nothing wrong with that. At the end of the day, they're all devices. That's a box with a controller or some form of input, right? Each of us will want a specific thing each of us want. What I want, I know I'll get it at a PC more than a console if all the games are shared exactly the same. Vedra, thank you for the super chat. He said, what's your take on PS games been published for free on PS and Sony is prepared to lose 30% on all their games published on PC? Shouldn't PS exclusives then automatically be 30% cheaper on PS console? All right, let me reread it just to make sure. What is your take on PlayStation games been published for free on PS? So the first question I need to clarify is which games? Because the only games that get published for free on PlayStation are the first party. You know, Sony don't charge themselves 30%. So I need clarification on that. And Sony's prepared to lose 30% on all of their games published on PC. Okay. So that's true because if they sell their games to Steam, Steam gets a 30% cut. So I get that. Shouldn't PS exclusives then automatically be 30% cheaper on PS consoles? Not really. Because I'm starting to see why. I see what you're talking about, Vedra. Okay. Regardless of what happens in the background, at the end of the day, the consumer pays $60. You know? So just because Sony doesn't lose 30% on their own platform, they're not going to make the game 30% cheaper. Does that make sense? They're not going to do that. You know? Because at the end of the day, you still have to pay $60. You know, on Steam, you're going to pay $60. PlayStation, you're going to pay $60. No matter where you go, it's $60. So no one's going to give you a deal. Same thing like Epic Game Store. They don't even charge developers 30%. They charge developers like 15%. It's a very low number, right? Very good, you know, developer friendly number, publisher number, right? That doesn't mean the game is 50% cheaper because they're not charging 30. It's still $60, you know? So I see what you're saying, but I don't think they care about that because in the background, everyone's going to pay the standard gaming price. Okay, so P-Rock, if PlayStation devs are as good as we are told, they should have no problem developing their games for PlayStation to be ported to PC. They're not going to have a problem, right? They just won't be focused. You could be the best in the world, right? In anything, right? Right? But I don't care how good you are. You will always be better. Even if you're the best, you will be at your best when you only have to focus on one thing compared to focusing on multiple things. No matter how good you are, right? Focusing on one thing and doing the most to get the most out of that one thing, right? It's the best scenario for that platform versus worrying about multiple things, right? I will tell you, and I'm going to say this up front, MLB The Show is going to take a hit, right? It's a consistent 85 plus higher average. You're going to see that game take a hit. It's going to get like Madden. I promise you. 2021 is going to be good. It's going to be a good game, right? But 2022, 2023, once we start hitting 2-3 years or 4 years deep, you're going to see the downward trend. Now, you Xbox guys probably won't notice it the first 2 years, or the PC guys, you know, especially if you were hardcore and adamant on not getting the PlayStation, right? And Xbox or PCs or Nintendo is going to be the first time playing this game, you're not going to notice the drop in quality. PlayStation fans will, right? Because think about it. The game has to come out every March, right? And it went from the studio making just one platform every March to now PlayStation, right? And it's going to be cross-gen, right? So PlayStation, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, PC, Nintendo, Switch. 6 platforms. 6 platforms. That means that Sony has to hire a huge bunch of people, like immediately, to support the growth. They're going to have to hire people that specialize on Switch. They're going to have to hire people that specialize on PC. They're going to have to hire people on Xbox One and Xbox XX. They're going to have to debt kits for each one. And nobody's really familiar on anything, right? And then all those people that specialize on all those platforms, they haven't been with the studio. They're learning on the fly. And they have to translate everything over to every platform. And the game still has to come out every March. It's going to get Madden. You saw how Madden came out this year. It's going to be Madden. You saw how people complain about 2K. You see how people complain about WWE wrestling. Games that come out every year, you're going to get it. Activision was smart. I give them that. If there's one thing I give Activision, some props, is that Call of Duty comes out every year, right? But it's not the same studio that releases the game every year. As far as the studio, particularly, they come out with Call of Duty like every 3 or 4 years. Depending on the studios. I think it's 3 studios, right? So each studio bunny hops. 1 year Call of Duty is this developer. The next year is this one. So the one who did it previously, they already started the next project, but that project won't come out for another 2-3 years. They bunny hop. So while Call of Duty comes out every year, it is not the same studio. So that is smart. But when it comes to Madden, when it comes to 2K, when it comes to WWE Wrestling, and now MLB The Show, it's the same studio. And they only got a 1 year turnover to pump out a new title. And within those couple of months, they have to find a way to make it different than the last month. Madden, they're slick. EA is slick when it comes to Madden. Because what they do is they take away features and then they add a new one, right? And they be like, oh, look at this new thing. And everybody focuses on the new thing. Then they go 4 or 5 years, right? And after 4 or 5 years, they bring back the old feature that was already there 5 years ago. And you're like, and for those that remember, we're like, wait a minute. For those who play Madden for a long time, you're like, wait a minute. This is new? I could have sworn I had this a while back. And they're slick. They recycle a lot of stuff, right? Or they just enhance something, and they call it something different. I remember they tried to hype 2 years ago Gang Tackle, but yet we had something similar like 4 or 5 years ago. They just renamed it something else. But ultimately, it's the ability for the defense to do 2 or 3 players to tackle one guy and have the animations look good. We had that on the PS3, but they just renamed it something different this gen. That's what they do, right? But the game comes out every goddamn year, and it's by the same studio. What can we honestly expect more from Madden, from 2K? And MLB is going to follow the same path, right? But when you're focused on one platform, one goal, one fan base, and that's going to be, oh my God, I can't wait to see this. Because you're going to have Nintendo gamers, you're going to have Xbox gamers, you're going to have PC gamers, right? And PlayStation gamers, right? For MLB. And that community, they all going to complain about something. And they're not going to agree. Everybody's going to have their own different flavor. And I don't know how San Diego Studio is going to go through with it. I wish them the best of luck. If I was Sony to do this, I would not just grow one studio to do MLB The Show. I will make 3 separate development teams. So that way, one development team combined are not making a game year over year. Have one development team with enough growth to handle multiple platforms, but the other development team, they're working on a game that won't come out for another 2 years. And then another development, so that way, yes, the game comes out every year, kind of like Call of Duty. Game comes out every year. But it's not from the same. It's still San Diego Studios, but it's Team A, Team B, Team C. Team A came out, then the next year Team B, then the next year Team C, and then the next year. Then now, after 3 years, Team A comes out with their game. They got to somehow maintain the quality of that, right? And that's ultimately it, right? Now, what I'm saying is not fanboy, it's not console wars, nothing. It's just a PlayStation fan who plans to buy, really anybody too, because even though I'm using the word fan, again, you could prefer Xbox, right? By any means, right? You could prefer Switch. Nothing wrong with that. And PlayStation's just your side console, just for the exclusives, right? For the first-party games. But wouldn't it feel better to you, the one who bought the PlayStation 5, knowing that this box you bought and the few games you decide to play on, you know the developer, that's all they focused on. That's all they worried about. They didn't worry about anything else. You know, they put all their effort on that box. They said, yep, this is the box. And then that's it. How can anyone who's willing to buy a PlayStation 5 have an issue with that? I don't think anybody would have an issue, with developers focusing on your preferred platform, right? I don't think anybody. You know, if a developer, and I'm gonna put PC gamers on the I'm gonna put you guys on the hot seat. If a developer goes right now, a big developer ready to make a big AAA game, right, and the developer goes, you know what? Let's be honest. No matter how good the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X is, it's still weak compared to a high-spec PC. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to develop our games to a high-spec PC. These are the minimum requirements. NVIDIA 2060, minimum. 1080 Ti, all those guys, nope, sorry. Minimum 2060, this is the spec. Minimum 16 gigs of RAM, minimum. Core 7, whatever, you know, a big spec PC. They're not worried about PlayStation 5. They're not worried about Series X. Those consoles, not good enough. This is what we want. I guarantee not a single PC gamer would be upset with that. My man Shane with a €150, £150, right? And the unicorn. Oh man, thanks for the support, brother. But think of that scenario. You honestly believe if a developer comes out and they're saying, hey, we're going to build the baddest game on the biggest spec on PC, you're telling me the PC community is going to flip out on the developer and say, oh, that's not right. You need to put these games on console so that way everybody else has a chance to play. They're not going to do that because it's not in their best interest. They bought a PC, especially those who bought a high-end gaming PC. Why are they going to worry about what a console gamer plays on a $500 box? They look at our consoles as if they're weak anyway. So they're not going to care. Again, this is not about console warring or fanboying. You invest in your money in your product, right? And especially if it's a product from a company who have dedicated studios, all you're asking is, what is those studios doing for my product that I decided to buy? What's the deal? You know, Vedra, thank you so much for the super chat. For me, it looks more likely that Sony will eventually publish their games on PS Now as downloadable content. They won't lose 30% on their greatness. That's. I'll be honest. I just don't know what Sony's doing. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if this means PlayStation 5. I don't know if this means, because PlayStation 4 gen is over. At that point, it's a free-for-all. Make some extra money. Sony just has to be clear. And I think I've said this before on Jay Barry's podcast. That's the one thing I'm going to knock Sony on big time is they have no clear message. And granted, they didn't officially announce Horizon Zero Dawn. This is a rumor that's been leaked. So the narrative and the information got ahead of them before they are able to actually unveil and say what they want to do with Horizon Zero Dawn, right? Because technically, this isn't Sony saying Horizon Zero Dawn is going to PC. It's from Schreier, and it's leaked. So technically, this stuff went ahead of the game before Sony could say something. But it's been a while. It's been a week, and Sony still hasn't said anything, right? Like, it's letting linger, and it's putting doubt on PlayStation fans on what's happening. Are we going to have that same relationship we always have with PlayStation where we buy the product and you focus on us? That's all we're asking. If that's not the case no more, fine. All right? This isn't, we're going to burn down the lobby. I seen some terrible tweets, people exaggerating, It's not that serious. If Sony makes the decision to put the games they want on PC, that's fine. It's not over. The world's not going to end. But at least we have the ability to choose what we're going to do. It'll be pretty messed up. They don't say nothing. And then we all buy the PS5 because we assume we need it, right? And this is the way to do it. And then they release the games they want on PC. And now we're like, God damn, Sony, I didn't have to give you $500. I could invest the $500 on a PC. You know what I'm saying? They just need to get the message out sooner rather than later because it is casting doubt on just Sony being responsible informing their consumers, right? Again, the fans did this. We did this. We hoped, and it's not like for charity because obviously they gave us what we wanted. We just want to know, are you going to continue to do this or are things changing? If things are changing, then hook it up. I'm not going to say your name. I'm just going to say D inside her. with a $2 super chat. PS following Xbox, who is in last place, is stupid. You know what I'm saying? Now, I will say this. We all talk trash about, PlayStation following Xbox, PlayStation bent the knee, Xbox, whatever. If Sony made this decision, they obviously have their own analysts. They have investors. They have people that watch the market. They have professionals that gives them the tempo on what to do, and they hope gauge on what it is. I'll give you a perfect example. Bandai Namco, right? About a month ago, maybe at the most, they nixed the idea of Xenosaga being remastered or remade, right? Xenosaga is a great franchise that was on PlayStation 1. They had 3 parts, very successful. They made 3 parts, right? Very successful. And I think that was like the Xenoblade is like the successor of that franchise, I guess, whatever. The Xenosaga was very popular on the PlayStation 1, very successful, to where the conversation of a remaster or remake was brought up, right? So, once that conversation started, it went to the analyst guys in terms of profitability. And they made the assessment that this game will not sell well, it will not make the company. Based on their advice, the company decided, fine, we won't make the remaster. It's just not going to produce the revenue, okay? I say all that to say this. All those companies have those guys. They have those guys that make an assessment and they be like, hey, this is the potential of what the game could do, right? They all have that. So if Sony decides to put games day one on PC, it's probably under the advisement of these guys. These guys have the ability, or not the ability, but that's what they do. That's their job. All those companies have that. And there's really nothing you could do, right? But the one thing we can do is push Sony to tell us, what are you doing? Because at the end of the day, this is a consumer product. Can we be informed consumers? So that way we can make the right purchase on what we want. Many of you, the majority, are still going to buy PS5, and that's perfectly fine. But at least it's a choice that you did and not a choice that was done for you, if that makes sense. All right? So right now, we're going to head into the Q&A real quick. All right? Knock this out. But I hope everybody understood what I was talking about. PlayStation fans' expectation with Sony and PlayStation 5 versus the fanboys. The message is getting diluted in Twitter because everybody wants to talk trash. Everybody wants to talk trash in podcasts, which is entertaining. But I think I had to separate the two for now. So that way everybody gets a clear understanding what PlayStation Nation really wants. What this really truly is about. It's not truly about making fun of Microsoft, because the majority of PlayStation Nation don't make fun of Xbox. There's over 100 million PlayStations out there. Trust me, the majority are not involved in a console war. The majority don't even own an Xbox. Majority don't even care about Xbox. It's not about Xbox. It's not about talking trash about Nintendo. It's not about PC. It's about what we want from the console, from the company that makes it, who has dedicated developers under them. That's all it is. All right. Let's see what we got. What we got? Any questions? Quick Q&A. Anything? Nothing. Maybe no questions. Oh, I'm gonna leave it at that then. I guess no questions for now. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope we understand the real conversation about this and expectation. But I'm glad you guys rocked out with me. This is your boy Puertorock77. I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying? It's Tuesday. It is what it is. I hope you guys enjoy your day. Enjoy your time gaming and stuff like that. I will catch you guys next time. This is your boy. Your only friend is YouTube Streets. And I'm out. Everybody in the chat, thank you so much for rocking out with me. For free. Obviously, you got the super chat. But again, that's all on you guys. And I truly appreciate it. I truly appreciate you guys. Don't forget to hit the like button. Later.